Now we're going to dive into what all the dimmer modes are in RC4 wireless Series 3 harmonized design devices. So I'm demoing dimmer modes on a LumenDim M4, but the same processes apply exactly to all the dimmers in the RC4 Magic 900, LumenDim, and WDim devices. For the two channels, some of them are not exactly the same because they're modes that utilize more than two channels. But in general, the process is the same. So if you look down below, you'll see some charts and some more helpful information. I'm just going to try to quickly demo through without too much of that detail, which is down there in writing. So the main things to understand are you're incrementing through modes with a two-button process where you're holding the func like a shift key and then tapping set B. It's very much like when you do restore defaults, except that restoring is with the set A and cycling through modes is with the set B. So we're starting now with a device that has been cleared back to the first most common mode. That's just basic dimming. So it's a 4-channel device. I've got it on the default DMX channel, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can change that using one touch. There are other tutorials here that show you that. So the one other thing I'll mention is I've turned smoothing off. There's a tutorial on how to do that with a press and hold set C feature in basic dim mode. And the reason I've turned off smoothing in this case is because when I get into the flicker modes, one of the really nice things about it is what we call the shimmer channel or the shimmer parameter. And if you use slow smoothing, it actually filters out the shimmering. So I have good reason to turn that off. In every other respect, this is in default mode. For RC4 wireless dimmers, if you're going to do them on video, keep in mind you'll also want to put the PWM frequency probably up to 5K or higher. It defaults at 615 Hertz. The LumenDim in this demo defaults to 5K already, so I didn't have to do that. Here's basic dimmer mode. Channel 1 on red, channel 2 on green, channel 3 on blue, channel 4 on white. Very straightforward. You've seen the equivalent of this in many tutorials. Now let's step up to the next mode. So remember, I'm going to do hold func, tap set B, release func. Hold, tap, release. Each mode is indicated on change by a different blink pattern. That's in the chart below also. So now we're in crossfade mode. You've seen it in another tutorial showing warm white, cool white. Here is, in this case, the mix between green and red, because that's the first two dimmers, and then I can hold whatever the mix is on the level channel. Same thing, it's a 4-channel dimmer, so I get to do that twice. On the next one, I have the mix between blue and white, and whatever ratio I choose, I can dim it up and down with level. That's crossfade mode. Now we get into the flickers, and this is a really cool expressive part of all our Series 3 stuff. Flicker modes, there are several different ways to pull this up, so it's going to start to feel a little complicated, and I'm going to kind of rush through them a bit, so keep in mind the data is down below. This is 3-channel flicker mode is next. So func and set B again. We get a dimmer beep pattern, blink pattern. And now we'll just quickly bring up some things that are changing, mix in some primaries. And the key thing about the 3-channel mode is the 4th channel is still used for regular dimming, and that is, in this case, my white. So I can just bring my white up, and we would use that for something else. Maybe you've got a actual candle flame in your prop, and you're backing it up with the flicker effect. You can put the candle on the 4th channel. Now we'll go to full-blown 4-channel flicker mode. That's the next thing. So we cycle again. Func set B. The difference, as I said, is just that now the flicker can be affecting the white. And we'll see it in there now. The white is starting to dance around a little bit. We didn't have that before. And now the next one, the flicker goes away and we go to HSL mode. So that's hue, saturation, level. And the first one is 3-channel HSL mode. Func set B, and now we have on our dimmers hue, saturation, and now we bring up level and we see something. So let's scale through hue. As I move this down, we mix through all the colors on the color wheel, just like you would expect HSL mode to do. So now instead of having a separate channel for red and another one for green and another one for blue, one channel takes care of all those mixes and transitions, and a particular level is a shade. And then saturation is simply that on any given color, as you reduce the saturation channel, it fades out to white. And white, of course, is a mix of all three. So the more saturated it gets, the more the color comes out. HSL, 3-channel HSL. Now the next one is 4-channel HSL, which makes use of that of the white that's built into this tape. So once again, Func Set B. And now we'll see, once again, I can bring up level, and the saturation does use the white. So saturation in this case can get even more saturated, more beautifully white, because it's all 4 coming on. A subtle difference, but if you're using 4-color tape with white, it is, you know, something you should use. So that's HSL 4-channel. Now, here's a neat thing. In the first flicker modes that I showed you, the flicker engine is creating random numbers and patterns, the speeds and the depths of which are controlled by faders. And there's another tutorial all about that, so you want to jump over there to get details of all the versatility you get there. But because it's directly controlling levels, that's kind of the RGB or the RGBW mode. Now we can have the flicker engine as a module influence the controls for the HSL engine. So when it's creating a random value that goes to hue and to saturation and to level, you get a different kind of look. So maybe not as great for fire, but maybe for something that's more of an effects-based, I'll call it a flicker. So let's go to that next mode. And now you may not see it really particularly deeply here, but you'll kind of have to take my word for it. What's going on here now is shimmers in saturation and hue and level. And we're in 4-channel mode, so I have direct control of the white. 3-channel mode, so I have direct control of the white. And then we're at the end of the list. Flicker controls HSL with the white in it. Func Set B. And so this is our grand finale. That's all our modes. And then one more push of the same cycle, Func and Set B, brings us back around full circle to the beginning. So now we have red, green, blue, and white. That is a lot of powerful stuff in there, and as I said, it's in all of our RC4 dimmers. So don't forget that you don't have to be creating fires, for example, on your console, and it's difficult to do that if you've got 3 of them on stage at once. So think about going to the flicker effect. If you want to control color in a different way, think about going to HSL. And don't forget to combine those features with our color match, where you can first make the color wheel accurate and compare it to something else, and then start fading through the hue, and you will be matching hues of other lights, commercial lights that are part of your show also. So that's it. That's modes.